Hi, hold on, not sure if you can see me yet. Facebook's asking me to rotate my phone, so I guess we'll be sideways again in a minute. I'll get that figured out one day. And no, I'm not on portrait mode. I don't know what the deal is with that. I'm going to, today, use DIY paint, the DIY brand clay-based paint on this hat. The last one that I did with acrylic paint with textile medium or a fabric medium added to keep it soft. But some of my friends, I'm going to give them a shout out here, Callie at Bayou Junkin Girls, I think she's in Thibodaux, Louisiana, and Kelly Weiler of Girl Upcycled, and Quita Allen of All Shabbed Out. All of these girls are painting fabulous Too Cool stuff on their hats using DIY paint. So I'm going to give it a try today and we'll see how it goes. I'm going to tilt the camera down in a minute and I'm going to let you watch. I have my paint in these, they're called FIFO bottles, first in, first out. This is DIY mint chip. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going through my mind right now as I paint this one as I go. I have several projects that I'm going to do today. We're having our 10th anniversary celebration here at the Artisan Market tomorrow, so I have several things that I want to get finished before then, and I'm going to do my best to do as many of them as I can. I have a jewelry box sitting right there that I want to decorate with some IOD molds and paint. I have a couple of these hats I want to do. I have a couple more pumpkins to paint, and then I have 3 aprons to paint down there, and I'm gonna try those. I think we talked before about the one that I painted with the acrylic paint and the textile medium. It was hard to get it to paint on the apron. These are like restaurant quality aprons. So I watched the other ones first yesterday to see if it was a sizing that was in there that prevented the acrylic paint and textile medium from sinking into the aprons, or whether it was what fabric the aprons themselves were made out of, and we'll find that out later today. I'm going to break this up in segments as the day goes on, but and I'm going to tell you a little story as we paint this one. But I'm going to instead of having the camera up on me up here, I'm going to turn it down to try to make it to where you can see what's going on down here, and then continue to share a little bit of what's going down as I work. Let me see if I can pull this closer, and I'll have to put it on my tablet so that if you have any questions I can see them, or comments. See if I can find the live. It's crazy if you've never done a live broadcast like this before, the way that this, yep, I'm sideways. Hey y'all. Oh, I gotta turn my volume down. And it's about 20 seconds behind or something like that on the live video there, so I'm still actually not seeing your comments as they go. And I've been working 12-hour days preparing for tomorrow, and I accidentally slept with my contact in last night, so my eyes aren't feeling so great. So I have my glasses that I'm going to put on so that I'll at least be able to see what's going on. And let's see if I can turn this down and now use the give me a little grace here, and now use the, I have it right there. Can you see it? I think so. Let's do it this way. I'll tighten that up and see how this goes. I'm kind of excited and kind of scared. I don't know why I always seem to want to try the new things in front of y'all. But you know what? I'm a human being, and we all need to try stuff, and I think that's why. This is DIY White Swan. Just going to squirt a little bit in my cup because it's not even probably going to take half of that much. I know I'm going to use a little bit of this Bohemian Blue. And I have, ooh, that's weird. Oh, it don't want to come out. These are brand new FIFO bottles, and we're going to be using them for our make and takes tomorrow. And this is nice to know that it's not going to work. I'm afraid, ooh, it did work. And my granddaughter Jewel that you see painting with me now and then is going to be the one doling out paint for everybody, so I want to make sure they're all ready for her. That was a little bit of DIY Old 57, and I'm going to get a little bit of this Fancy Farm Girl. And did I already get mint chip? I'm going to get a little of this mint chip, and that's because I have those in the FIFO bottles. And I also have sitting here some Sandy Blonde, because that looked to me to be the closest to a Caucasian skin tone. And I got this layered chocolate that was just so close to empty, there's no way I could put it in a jar. But the angel that I'm thinking about as I paint this hat today had brown hair. So, and I didn't go pick out any specific brushes. I just grabbed a handful, and we're gonna deal with what we got. I think probably the smartest thing for me to do at this point would be to sketch it in a little bit. And I'm going to use this tiny brush for that. Just a tiny. It's not as long as a regular liner brush, and not necessary. Ooh, I didn't get me a rag. Hold on, let me grab a paper towel before we get started. What made me think of this today is someone that I care about a whole lot. My niece lost her son almost a year ago. It's been a year ago this coming week, and he's our angel now. He was 15 years old, and everybody is always, it seems like, making the angels look like girls. But you know, angels are not just girls. Angels are boys too. Our angel's name was Matthew, and his whole family misses him a whole lot. So I think it helps sometimes if whenever you're painting something and you know you want it to be something really special, if you think about something special in your life or situation. Can you see that? Yeah. And Matthew was special to everyone who knew him, and especially, of course, to his family. So we shall dedicate this hat to the memory of Matthew, and anyone else who has lost a loved one. Like I said, now and then it seems like we're always, when we're thinking about angels, see, I've just got the indication of where the head will go, neck, a little bit of the arms. His mama called him Sweet Pea, and I'm going to put a little bit of flowers there in his hand, and those will be sweet peas, and we've got the wings there. And I'm going to go from the head out just because that feels like that's what I should do. So I'm sure that especially me, I mean, you see that I paint a lot of angels and things like that, because they sort of all speak to me. You know what I mean? I actually, look at that, looks like a mustache coming out. Take care of your brushes. Oh, this is a wax brush. I'm glad I found that. I'm going to put that in the thing for tomorrow. Let's see if I have something else flat enough. We'll use this one right here. This is a little angled brush, but I wanted something a little bit bigger to do the face with. But anyway, so this is, I think it should come down onto the bill of the hat. And he's going to be wearing pants instead of just the regular robe, so that you will remember that he's a boy. From what I understand, from what Callie says, that's Callie Lorette. She's from Thibodaux, Louisiana, and her business is Bayou Junkin Girls. She heat sets the DIY paint on her hats by throwing them in the dryer. And I'm going to tell you right now, I've painted lots of hats in my day using the textile medium and the acrylic paint. And this is way easier. This is way easier. I don't know that I'll ever go back to that. Wow, this is going on so good and thick and creamy and easy. I want it to look a little bit distressed and rough. I'm not trying to go for, a portrait here or anything, any kind of perfection. It takes a load off whenever you let yourself just be free to consider it to be the resemblance of something or the indication of something, and not, you know, not try to make the perfect head. Allow yourself the freedom to just enjoy what you're doing and not just worry about perfection. Give him a little bit of a neck there. I'm a little bit worried about how I'll get that shadow in there in a minute, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. Think about our arms here. This is an indication of arms and where they would be. Can you see that good? Yeah. Man, that was fabulously easy. I'm leaving just a tad of the dark hat showing through between the head and the neck to indicate there is a neckline. I don't know whether to use a smaller brush or just continue to use this one. I think I'll let, you know, I was going to do the hair next, but I think I'm going to let that dry and just use some of these other colors that I have here and sort of blend them in for the clothes. We'll go for blue jeans at the bottom with the boho blue. Wow, this is easy. I probably spent on the sunflower hat that the last one I did with the acrylic paints in textile medium, I probably spent 2 hours painting that. This is very therapeutic. Wanting to make sure that this does sink down into the fabric real good and not just be laying on top. So I'm going to go ahead and put on another layer. If you were using this paint to dye fabric, like if you wanted to do a chair or a sofa or whatever, they generally water it down a lot, like at least 50-50 water to paint. And you do layer after layer to sort of use all the pigments that are in the paint to actually dye the fabric. But that's not our situation here. We do want this to sink in, but also be on top there. Okay, now we have the white for the wings. We have a teal, which is old 57. We have mint chip, which is a pale green, and we have a dark green. So I got them all out, and by golly, I'm going to use them. I'm going to make the shirt teal. Get a little bit of an indication of a shoulder there and a sleeve. Y'all, this is so easy. I can't believe how easy it is. I feel like a superstar. I made those arms a little wide, so that's a cool thing about this is I can now narrow them down and cover it up with the shirt paint. Yes, I am live, but you can still come talk to me. I'm going to be live all day long, so you could come. You need me?
No, we can wait.
Okay. Sorry about that. I am at work. Everybody here is camera shy. Even though I tell them ain't nothing but a thing. Ain't nothing but a thing. I'm going to round that neck because now it looks like a scrub top. I'm going to put a little bit more on there, and then I'm going to put a little bit of highlighting on the jeans with the same color. And I don't like that very much, but I'll go back in with some more boho blue. Felt like I didn't leave enough of an area open here for it to be obvious that these were pants legs. I'm going to put a little bit of green now to be the stems of the sweet peas. A little bit of the background there. Hoping I can come over the top with this. I'm going to have the paler green here. And I'll probably, let me do some of the boho blue first. Sweet peas come in a lot of colors, but blue is a common color that's on there too. Right on top of that and highlight it just a little bit with the paler green. I feel like you can't see my stems good enough, so I'm going to come down just a little bit with my stems, because it's important for this instance, since his mom called him Sweet Pea, for it to be obvious that he's holding flowers for her. Just grab a little bit bigger brush to kind of go back in on those blue jeans. There we go. Where am I at? Can you see it's white? That's why it's hard to see. think that's pretty obvious that it's blue jeans, huh? Now let's give him some hair. Matthew had brown hair. So brown, I'm using, this is layered chocolate. I want to make sure, I mean, even though we're not doing a full face here, I do want to make sure that it's, you know, this is a boy angel. He had short bangs. And I'm going to go very, very thin and put just a tad. I'm trying to make a little bit of a shadow under the neck here. I mean, under the chin. Without making it obvious that I'm making a chin. I'm going to do the same thing and just outline the arms a little bit. This is so easy, y'all. I don't want eyes and stuff. I don't want to have an indication of something there. Okay, how's it looking so far? My heart's here. No matter what happens at the end of the day, my heart is exactly where it's supposed to be at this moment on this project. What'd I do with that ankle brush? This is the brush I want to use on my wings. Okay, we're going to use this one instead. Just getting another small angle brush. We're going to go in thick with the white on the wings to begin with, and then decide whether to put a little color in them. You know, what a beautiful day it will be when we all get to heaven. I didn't even mean that to come out that way, but when we get to see our loved ones again, and you know, I know it seems like a long time to us when we're missing them, but to them it's, you know, a blink of the eye, and they're going to get to see us again, and they have felt no pain and no sadness, just love all the way around while they were waiting on us. I'll tell you another little personal story here. Before my mama died, she was very sick. She had cancer, and she found out the day after my grandmother's funeral, and she had taken care of my grandmother who had cancer for many years. And my mother was spent about 7 years taking treatment, and it was not good. It was not a very much way to want to have to live. So, you know, even though we were hurt when she was gone, we were glad that she was no longer suffering. But just before she passed away. I mean, that last week was very terrible, and she was in a whole lot of pain, and nothing that they gave her helped, and she more or less screamed for a week. And for a little while after, when they first started the morphine and everything, she had kind of fell asleep, and then she woke up, and her eyes were like crazy looking around, and she said, and you could tell that she was not seeing us and what was in the room right then. And she said, "Benson?" And that was my daddy's name. He had passed a few years before. And she said, "Benson? Why is everybody wearing white? Is this our wedding?" And that, even though I knew she was feeling confused right that moment, and I believe that it hurt my stepfather, and I wouldn't have wanted that to happen for anything in the world. But when you're thinking about all the things we hear about heaven in our whole lifetime, and about our family being there waiting on us, that sort of confirmed a lot of that for me, that she was, it was about her time, of course, but she was seeing her family, and they were all gathered there, to where she knew that that they were gathered for a magical event, which, was, they were waiting on her, if you ask me. And she saw them, and she saw them all waiting, and everything looked so beautiful that she thought everybody was dressed up for a wedding. It just made my heart feel good, and helped me to accept that, her time with me was over, but that, her family was all waiting. That was in late July 2005, and she passed away August 4th. Just me and her. It was just me and her when I came into the world, and just me and her when she went out. Wonder if I should put, if the wings should be separated like that, or if I should put a little bit right there. I'm not going to put a little bit right there. Okay, so I think I should outline the wings a little bit. Hey Marguerite, hey Carlin. I think I should outline the wings a little bit, just to give them a little something something. So I'm going to go back to that tiny little brush and do that with this layered chocolate. Give Matthew a little bit more hair. Another thing that we don't hardly talk about very much is, once someone passes, especially if it's someone's child or their, only living relative that's left and things like that, we don't know what to say. We don't know what to say to them, so we don't say anything. And they feel so alone, like nobody else but them remembers, I think about Matthew all the time, this little boy, this Lynn's son, and with it coming up, this week on the anniversary of his gaining his angel wings, I don't know what to say to her, because I haven't ever experienced the pain that she's experienced, but I want her to know that Matthew is remembered and loved, and that not just by her, that other people remember too. I think that's one thing that you hear from people in the grieving community, is they want to talk about them, and they feel like everybody thinks, their loved one's name is, something taboo to talk about now since they're not here anymore, and that's just not the case. They need to know that other people think about them and love them too. So if you know somebody that's lost a child or a loved one, somebody they were really close to, and you know, you remember the anniversary of that, the person's birthday, or the you know, whenever they gained their wings and things like that, acknowledge it to their loved one so that they don't feel like they're the only one thinking about it. That's a sad place to be. It's a sad place to be when you feel like you're the only one that remembers, and how special that your loved one was. So think about that. If there's somebody you can call today and say, hey, I was thinking about you, and thinking about the good times, you know, this time we went fishing with Matthew, or this time we got together for Christmas, or something like that, and I just wanted you to know I was thinking about you. I believe that you will make somebody's day. That's my public service announcement for the day, I guess. Okay, what am I gonna do? Should I, since Matthew was young, should I make his wings have a little bit of color in them? Well, I didn't go up this side like I did over there. Or should I, you know, vintage them up with the brown, or maybe make a little tan with the brown? Anybody have an opinion? Or should it just keep going with my heart and just do what happens? I wish I wouldn't have went around that way, but I'm going to do it on this side too now that I've done it over there. I think either way would look good, but he was a young boy. I'm gonna go with the lighter color. It's still dirtied it up a little. I am just wanting to cry over everything today. I don't know if y'all ever have a day like that, but I have. Candy called to tell me that my grandson's grades went up, and I cried over that. I'm so proud of the grandkids, and you know, whenever and you can see that their efforts are paying off, it just feels good. But I have had a boo-hoo morning. Let's put a little bit of the teal in there too to match his shirt. Who says angel wings always have to be white, right? Thank you, Carlin. I think when you go with your heart, you never go wrong. Your heart leads you in the right place. And this was a pretty nifty idea too, I'm going to stop and say. I think they sell these are called portion cups in restaurant talk. Portion control cups. This is a 3-ounce cup, but I think they even sell the 2-ounce ones at Walmart now, like buy the paper plates or something like that. But these have lids, so when I'm done here, I can put the lids back on those paints, and it'll be just as if I had my wet palette in here and had the wet paint and can use it again and not waste the paint that's there. So that'll be pretty cool too. I do have my wet palette, but it is completely chock full of paint to paint those pumpkins with. I still feel like it needs something. This is in floral school, I'm almost to what they called, I wish I could put the blue eyes on there, but I wanted him to have closed eyes. Matthew had the most beautiful eyes you've ever seen in your life. Oh, they were so beautiful. His mama has those beautiful eyes too. Yeah. But that's not what this is meant to be, so. I'm just doing a little bit of a rough sketch through here, just again to outline them. I feel like you can't see the brown as well that I outlined it with earlier. So this is just a faint little something something. I hate that the pants look like that. Use a little bit of that brown right there, and that's going to be the last thing I do to that. Put him a little belt. I'm going to go over some of that white with a little bit, some of that color with a little bit more white. I overdid it. Maybe I can smear it a little and it'll be good. This is just a little flat brush. I like it. Okay, I'm done. There it is. So I'm going to let this paint dry, and then I'm going to throw it in the dryer. And this is Matthew, and if you're a praying person, please say a prayer for Matthew's family today. He's forever 15. Thanks for watching. And I'll have several more videos today if y'all want to watch them or not. I'm not offended if you don't. I'm happy if you do. But I'm going to paint a pumpkin or two and probably another hat and the jewelry box for people who are wanting to, try this themselves. It's not just for me being like the TV and being your entertainment, but for people who want to do this themselves and who want to watch somebody else do it a time or two first to make sure that they got it down. Thank y'all. Bye.